Man, I've been having some good shit lately. Okay, so I was asking Joel, I was giving him ideas, and I was like, take me to Los Angeles and take me to Skid Row. Okay, well, I got that experience. It's probably several days previous that I asked for that. And then when I get it, I'm like, that's so weird, because I know I asked for it, but it was probably 5 or 6 days previous, and then I got the experience. Okay, so I was in downtown Los Angeles, and this is OBEVR Lucid Dream, and me and my sister were, I was in the passenger, and she was in the driver's side, and we were driving her little maroon car. Well, she was driving, and I was in her maroon car. Maroon car. What is it? It's what kind of car is it? Crap, I forgot. A little sport car. A Mazda. I think that's what it is. Yeah, so that's how it kind of. Wait, hold on. My sister's. Well, anyway, I'm not necessarily saying all of this stuff in order, because like I just don't want to forget anything. So I hurry up and jot the shit down, and I don't care about if it's in order or not, like what came first or whatever. So anyway, because this may have been the second part of the scenario, but anyway, so when I talk about these experiences, sometimes they're not exactly like an experience, not exactly exactly happened in that order. But anyway, okay, so, because actually, wait a minute, hold on. Well, shit, now I'm going to do the other part first. Okay, so we were standing there in front of a restaurant. And there was a bunch of other people. I saw a bunch of black people standing there and stuff. And it's like my sister was inquiring about a job. And I was just kind of looking inside the window, and my sister was kind of standing around, and there was like some, offices or whatever, and that's how it started, as far as I remember. And but like I say, this may not be the beginning, because like all these experiences I've been getting, like they like try to leave my brain like really fast for some reason. So anyways, that's why I hurry up and write them down. Okay, so anyway, so I was standing there. And I saw some black people, and I was thinking in my head, like, well, this doesn't seem so dangerous down here, you know what I mean? And several months ago, I was, I got the urge to watch the Skid Row crap on YouTube. And that was a few months ago or whatever, or maybe a couple months ago. And so anyways, so we were standing there, and I had looked through the window of an Italian restaurant. And like I say, there were some black people standing around outside on the sidewalk, and my sister was standing around, and there was some office building, and it's like we went there because my sister was inquiring about a job. We drove there apparently. Okay, so anyway, and then I started to look through the window, and I saw this lavish Italian restaurant, and I saw the chef. Well, not really chef. It almost seemed like a server was just kind of hurrying up and like walking by several plates on the table, and was like do and putting little fine details to the food, like she had like a bottle of cheese sauce or something, or some kind of milky sauce or cheese sauce, and she was just like perfectly like hurrying up like on each plate, like do and making like little swirls and stuff all over the food. And for whatever reason, I had no desire to go in there and eat, but I was just noticing how what a fine restaurant it was, and and the server in there, it was a pretty fancy like restaurant. It was an Italian restaurant. Okay, so anyway, so I went to Los Angeles, Skid Row, in my sister's maroon car. And then, like I said, I looked into the window of the upscale restaurant, and I saw the chef, but I think it was kind of more like the server at the tables, lavishly, whip up all the meals and stuff. Okay, so then me and my sister, we were out parked in the middle of the road. Well, it just seemed like it was just 2 or 3 lanes. Crap, I can't remember, but it was like 2 or 3 lanes. And then all of a sudden we were parked there in her car. And I was in the maroon car in the passenger seat. And then she gets out real quick, and then she goes up, you know, to the other the other offices and stuff, because she was going to inquire about a job. And then I was sitting there, you know, in the passenger seat of the maroon car, the Miata. Okay, the female. Okay, as I looked around, I didn't see any other cars on the street. Like, I looked back and I looked forward. Okay, but before that, a female cop came up to me and said that we can't park our car right there, and that's when I kind of looked up and looked back, and I didn't see any cars, you know, on the street. It was just us. And I told her, I said, we are not from around here, and we didn't know that. And I know Joel got that from when I was in Kansas City one time, and we were in the ghetto street. We were in a ghetto area, like 2 o'clock in the morning, and we stopped off in a motel parking lot, and there was no other cars around. And then the guy was like, get off, get off, get off. And he was behind shatterproof glass. And we went up there, like I walked up there, and I was like, hey, we're kind of lost. And he's like, well, nobody could just sit there like that. And so I know the alien probably got that. And it's kind of funny, that was in real life, and a little black kid came up to us, real skinny black kid on a crutch, and wanted us to buy drugs, and he was like totally harmless. But that was in real life. And so I think that's why the alien put that in here, that we were stopped off on the street with no other cars, except in real life it was in a parking lot. Okay, so anyway, my sister was basically inquiring about a job, and she was in a fairly... Oh, so then, then I got out of the car, and I hurried up and ran in, like where my sister was at, inside of an office building. And you know, because the female cop said that we couldn't stay there like that. So anyway, my sister was inquiring about a job, and she was in a fairly big office while I was waiting in the car. I was waiting in line outside. Oh, no, I guess I did say that right, because the scenario first started out, I was waiting in line outside the restaurant. And then I saw all sorts of black people walk by. Then it was when I looked in the window and saw the chef and the, what do you call it? The waiter and everything. Oh, yeah, and then I did talk to somebody, and I was like, oh, we're just looking, I told them that I didn't have any interest in eating or anything, that we were just looking for jobs or something like that. And that I wasn't interested in eating. I was making conversation with one of the people that were standing around there. But anyway, so when the female cop said we couldn't park in the middle of the street, I hurried and ran into the office building where my sister was and told her, hey, well, like I say, it was actually kind of like a strip mall type of thing. And so I ran into the office, like where my sister was at, and I told her, hey, we need to leave so we can, so I went all the way in the back. She was all the way in the back, and it was a pretty big freaking office, man. It was huge. And I went all the way in the back, and there were tables to the left, like desks and stuff, and there was one man walking around. But anyway, so I finally saw my sister, and I was like, hey, we need to leave so we can move your car. And like I said, the office was large and spacious. It looked like a pretty nice office, and there was at least one male in there. Like I said, there's one male walking around. But anyway, I asked Joe for that experience, and I got it. It's so weird. And there was another funny... Oh, I can't remember if that was on the same night. That could have been on the same night. I can't remember. But anyway, August 26th. Oh, no, this was on a different night because it says August 25th. And then the Skid Row experience was August 26th. So August 25th, I had another, like, scenario, and I was, like, living at my mom's house over, you know, a couple blocks away. And my mom and dad were gone, and I was in the house by myself. I went to bed, let's see, it was like 11:20. It was like 11:20 p.m. that I went to bed, and somebody knocked on the door, and there was nobody in the house, you know, because my parents were gone. And this is not the first time. The aliens have given me many experiences like this before. I was scared. But anyway, so when somebody knocked on the door, I was scared since I knew nobody should be knocking on the door. I went to the door, so I got up out of the bed and I went to the door. And blondish woman about age 37 kept staring at me through the glass window of the door. She was harmless looking and kept looking, and I kept looking at her like she was up to no good. I didn't trust her. You know, to me, she was very scary looking. I kept thinking she was going to break in. Her face was so clear as she was like, you know, looking at me through the glass window. Her face was so clear, and I was afraid to open the door. But yeah, this is kind of funny because like the aliens put like a harmless looking woman in there, but yet in the scenario, you know, they made this scenario seem kind of scary because it was very scary. You know, like I thought she was gonna break in and shit like that. And like I said, they've done this many times before with like mainly it would be, you know, they'd put a man like you know like I'll be in the house by myself and a man would be trying to like break in or whatever. And okay, so finally, okay, hold on. And finally, my mom and dad drove up, and then I found out. So as she was like looking at me and stuff through the window, finally I saw my mom and dad drive up in the park in the driveway, and then I found out. Oh yeah, okay. So then I found out like she turned around and went and talked to my mom and dad. Then I found out she just wanted to know something about my brother. She just wanted to ask a question to my brother. Anyway, so I just don't understand why the aliens would put a harmless looking female in the scenario. But then they make you think, you know, the person is so scary and trustworthy. Like they're a burglar or something. So anyway, that's just part of like how they can make you think anything in the scenarios. You know, they can mind control you to think anything under the scenarios. Like you could be looking at a turtle, but in the scenario, like they'll make you think, even though you're looking at a turtle, they'll make you think you're looking at a basketball. And then after you wake up, you're like, that wasn't a basketball, that was a turtle. They could do shit like that. But anyway, okay, so after the Skid Row experience, there was a, I don't think this was part of the experience, this was just another separate little weird lucid dream. A virtual reality, like lucid dream, like right before I woke up. And this was after the Skid Row to Los Angeles experience. And anyway, okay, so I was at my mom's in bed in that little room where in real life where I used to, you know, live or whatever. I was at my mom's in bed living there for whatever reason. Oh yeah, okay, and so for whatever reason I had to call the IRS and call the collections department. And I was sitting there trying to dial all the numbers and couldn't seem to do it. Like the number was 1-800-849-1025, but yet I just kept dialing 1-800-849-1024, 1-800-849-1035, 1-800, and I just couldn't seem to dial the 1025. I kept dialing like 1021, 102, and blah 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 blah, and I wasn't able to dial the number. That was kind of funny. But they've done shit like that before, over and over and over again. Like you'll be sitting there trying to like play softball or softball or baseball, and then you're trying to like hit the ball, and you're like, ugh, like you can't hit it. It's so funny. Oh, but anyway, like those were kind of sucky experiences compared to these other ones I just had. Just wanted to do something about issues. I'm crying about a job. Okay, I think I said everything on here. Another dream. Oh, okay, then the other ones I wrote down on the computer real quick. But yeah, those were kind of sucky ones compared to these other ones I just had. Yeah, that other one was a trip, man. Oh yeah, and then I just asked, you know, give me another experience, stick me in another motel or whatever if you want to, and he did. But that was one that the better one I had several days before that one. That one was like yesterday morning, where my friend Angie was in the experience with me, and she died a few months ago. But yeah, and there was other parts to it, but I had already like forgotten. But I was eating beef. Okay. Oh, okay, yeah, these were both on August 28th. I did put the date. Okay, August 28th. yeah. So when was that? Oh yeah, yesterday morning. And there was some more to this. And this morning, oh my god, like this morning, I had some fun experiences too. And well, basically two times. I got laid basically twice, and one time in a golf. Like the first experience, I was in a golf cart, and it was just like, it's just like what do you call it? Just what's that called? Just having like romance and stuff, But what the first scenario it was in the golf cart, and it's like I was like dating somebody and everything, and it was this long drawn out scenario. I was staying with the person and blah 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 blah, and we went out into the yard and blah 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 blah. But anyway, so basically, a lot of these scenarios are, like dating romance scenarios. But anyway, so this morning there was this person, and like I say, I was in a golf cart in the yard, like in the backyard or whatever, or maybe it was a side yard. But anyway, but yeah, and then it went on to another scenario where it was this other different person, and we were like in the kitchen, and there was like two separate like small little kitchens, and one had like a big stainless steel refrigerator, and then in the other kitchen had another like smaller refrigerator, and we were just having a long drawn out, like scenario and like dating relationship and stuff. But yeah, so it was kind of fun, but I've already forgotten a lot of little details. But yeah, but it was fun. It was fun. It was fun. It was fun. But anyway, okay, so yesterday morning, well, I don't know if this was the first one or the second one, but I had two other scenarios, and the first scenario, but I know there was some other stuff before that, but I can't remember. But anyway, so I was sitting down like in a restaurant, and I was eating this bowl of beef, and it was black. It was black looking. And I was eating, that's all I was eating, this big bowl of beef, and it was like, kind of salty, and it tasted really good. And I was eating like, over to the left was this big yeasty sweet roll, and it tasted really good too, and it was gummy. But the funny thing is, the beef, as I was eating the beef, it did not quite taste like beef. I mean, I thought it was beef in the scenario, but it didn't quite taste like beef. It tasted a little different, but it was good. Like, it was good in the scenario. So yeah, so I wonder if, like, I don't know, if that really could have been some other kind of beef, some other kind of meat, that really did taste like that in real life, or something that I've never eaten before, but yeah, I was able to eat it under the altered state of consciousness. Because like I say, it didn't, and it was well done and everything, because when I fry my beef up, the aliens know that I make it very well done, and sometimes I accidentally don't, and it tastes a little different, and it's like, ugh. Because I like my beef very well done, but sometimes if I do it real fast, But anyway, so I was eating a big bowl of beef, and to the left of me, I started eating like a big yeasty sweet roll and everything, which in real life, I can't eat that. But and then all of a sudden, I went to my mom's and dad's after that restaurant, and I was in I was in the driveway standing around, and my mom and brother, and I can't remember if my sister was in it. My mom and brother, like, were standing there in the driveway, and it was about to get dark. And there was, the gun I have in real life was in the scenario, and so there was like a silver gun just like it, and a black gun just like it. And like I say, this experience was so weird. But anyway, so it started to get dark outside, and like I say, these two guns were 380s. And I looked up, and like way up high, and I was staring at a planet, and it had a small red spot. It was kind of yellow looking, but then it had a small red spot. And like I say, it was about to get dark. And then I took the gun. I saw the silver one laying there on the gravel, and then I took the black one, and I started like aiming at it because I was gonna shoot that little red spot. And but that was just weird. It didn't seem weird in the scenario, but there's no way that bullet could have reached that high up. And I was like so precisely like, looking through the little, what's that called? The little scope or whatever. But on this gun, there really wasn't a bit of scope. But as I aimed it up towards that little red dot, I was precisely getting the dot right in the middle between the two little slits of the scope. Almost like if it was a M16 or something. Because I did shoot an M16 like when I was younger. But yeah, that was so weird because I was aiming with that little 380, but I was precisely, getting the little red dot in between, and I knew I could, I shot it and everything. I knew, I got it right on the money, the little red spot in between. Well, the funny thing is, I can't actually remember if I pulled the trigger or not, but I'm sure I did. But I was just like precisely like aiming at a freaking planet with that little red spot, and it was so weird. And then there was like a couple of cars pulled up in the driveway, and I was just like wondering who they were and if they were like my brother's friends or something. And there was a lot of other parts to this scenario, but I've already forgotten a lot of it. But that was just kind of weird. And then the second scenario I had yesterday, and I think there was some other parts to this one too, but I had already forgotten, like some of the parts. But anyway, basically, me and my friend Angie, we were at this motel. And basically, like, we were walking around trying to find a checkout room because we were going to sneak in there and stay in there for free, and it's probably Angie's idea, but I can't remember that part. So anyway, Angie, she finally found a checkout room, and me and her went in there, and there were 2 double beds, and the funny thing is, they both were like broken, and they both were like sinking in real bad, and the wood foundation was broken. It's so weird. And I know the aliens got that from, because the bed in there that I sleep on kind of sinks in the middle because I have such a soft cushion on top of the bed in the back bedroom. And I've been sleeping in that bedroom lately, but eventually I need to switch to the front bedroom because I like to sleep in one room for a couple months and then I sleep in the other room for a couple months. But anyway, yeah, I immediately noticed how it was like both beds were broken and sunken in and everything, so that's kind of funny. And all of these experiences were very, very vivid, except I just, forgot a lot of parts of them because they're just the kind of scenarios they've been giving me lately. But anyway, okay, so basically we went inside the motel room, and we thought it was a checkout room. And she laid in one bed and I laid in the other, and we were going to go to sleep. But first, like I said, I noticed how broken and very uncomfy, and how it sank in real deep in the middle of the beds. Then when we laid down in the bed, I noticed, oh my God, this was a stayover room and not a checkout room, because I saw the suitcases under the blankets on the chair. There were like suitcases, like 2 suitcases that I could just kind of barely see under some blankets that were stacked up on the chair in the corner. And Angie mistakenly didn't see that at first. Then the husband and wife came back inside their motel room and saw us in the room. And we had to explain to them that we were not breaking in, that we just wanted to stay in a room for, like for free overnight. So we were gonna, get into a checkout room, and stay in the checkout room, like for free. But anyway, I know the aliens put that in there because, like when I worked at motels, and we'll have all the doors open, the ones that need to be cleaned and stuff. So anyway, that was kind of weird experience, but it's kind of funny. So anyway, the other motel one that I just had several days before that was a really long one, and it was bizarre, and it was a lot better than all these other experiences. But the other one, okay, I'll talk about that one. Let's see. Went to grandma's softball. Oh yeah, this one. These were quite a while ago, a couple weeks ago. We went to England. Ah, shit, in my big mess. Yeah, so a lot of them already left me, but I did write them down. But as far as like, you know, the whole scenario, a lot of it already left me because I wrote these down a couple weeks ago. But anyway, so didn't sleep real deep. Okay. The other one I had, I didn't put the date, but it was like about 2 or 3 days ago. Okay, so basically, I was at this hotel up the street, and they had put a new addition onto it. So where that red motel up the street, and I can't remember what it's called in real life. Basically, in the scenario, it was kind of like that motel in the scenario that I had went to. So anyway, I went to the hotel up the street, and it had a new addition added onto it. It had a whole new line of rooms that they had, you know, that they had added on to it. I was like, oh, this is weird. But let me see what the addition. But anyway, it started off like where the maid, she was like the head maid, the manager maid, the head maid was like, you know, leading me around and kind of showing me. It's like I was gonna work there, and I was excited to work there, and I was about, you know, I couldn't wait to start cleaning rooms and stuff. And so anyway, it started off like I was in the motel, and she was following me around for a long time. She had keys in her hands, her left hand and her right hand, and I just kept following her around, and then I saw like the laundry room and some sheets and stuff, and I was just like, okay, like when am I gonna get to clean rooms, you know? But anyway, basically, she kept, you know, like I kept leading her around, and she was showing me stuff, and like showing me this, showing me that. Okay, so anyway. Yeah, it's like the worker, the maid, the head maid was taking me on a tour to see the new additions and everything. And we never did get to clean any rooms. Also, like I said, she had a key in her hand, and it seemed we were forever trying to find the right keys as I followed her around. You know, like the right keys for this room or that room. But anyway, the scenario started out in the old part of the hotel, and the head maid was giving me the tour. I saw the laundry room with the washer and dryers and everything. Above the doors, I was staring at all the weird. Okay, so then we led off into hold on, what was that? Okay, what's that one thing I wrote down? Because this experience was very, very vivid. Okay, well anyway, basil. What was it? Basil. I wrote it down. Basil. The potato chips. One of them was basil and well, anyway, I wrote it down. I'll go get it. That's because I think I put it in my bag. But anyway, that was part of the scenario where the chips and stuff were just laying there, and I thought they were free samples or something. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, it was a trip because like we were walking around, and finally she leads me over to the new part of the scenario. I mean, the new part, you know, like where they built on the new part of the rooms. I mean, the new line of rooms. And then all of a sudden it becomes very eerie feeling. It becomes very, very eerie. Okay, so anyway, so anyway, as we walk through the new part of the rooms, the new addition. Okay, hold on. But the old part of the hotel. The old part of the hotel was not scary or eerie feeling at all. It was when we hit the new area. And it was up over, like way up to the left side of the motel. That's where the new line of rooms were. Old part, as I looked up above the... Okay, so as I was walking along the new part of the scenario, I mean the new line of rooms, she was also walking along with me, and I kept looking up. Okay, this reminds me of the movie. Here's the funny part. Okay, as I looked up above the doors and was staring at all the weird symbols and observing how scary it felt in that new area, I was like, wow, this reminds me of the movie The Shining. So I was walking along, and I started looking up at the top of the rooms. I mean, the top of the doors. And like I say, the walls, oh my God, this was like a real lavish part. That's why it's so weird, because I was like, why is the old part of the motel room really kind of old and gross, and then the new part was like all lavish and stuff? I knew that didn't make sense. The walls seemed to be marble, and the wide doors to each room. The walls and doors were very light beige marble. The hall was very wide and the doors were very tall with big roundish symbols above each door that seemed to be the same. I saw these round weird symbols above each door. I told the head maid I bet there was not any number 13 rooms. Then as I walked down one side and the other, I counted 211, 212, 213. And then as I went down the other side, like 311, 312, 313, and I was shocked because I told her I thought motels were not supposed to have number 13. I was shocked and thinking to myself, why is this part of the hotel so lavish? Oh, I already said that. And the other part so old and yucky and like a number 1 or 2. Why is this part of the hotel so lavish? I was thinking that in my head. And the other part so old and yucky. And like a 1-star or 2-star hotel. And the other line of rooms, the addition, it was like a 5-star hotel. But anyway, it was funny how I was excited to start my new second job. It was like a second job I was going to start. Also, the funny thing is, it's like there must have been a built-in grocery store in this hotel on the lavish side, because eventually I saw a woman and her kid with a cart full of groceries that was walking around. And I looked at the grocery cart and was looking at all the food, in the cart. So that was kind of funny. I saw a woman and her kid in a cart full of groceries on my way to the lavish. Oh, that was before. Okay. So I saw a woman and her kid and a cart full of groceries. It was a boy and she was a girl. I mean, the mom was a female, and then I saw like the boy and all of the whole cart was like filled up full of groceries. So I saw a woman and her kid in a cart full of groceries on my way to the lavish hall, the little hall, the new addition with the 2 rows of new rooms. But anyway, the ceiling was really high in this new addition. And also there was a table and a snack area or waiting area with tables and chairs and some couches in a pretty big area outside the new lavish addition of the hotel. Okay, well, anyway, let me make sure I said everything. Sleeper. But yeah, the weird symbols above the doors were really weird. They were like circle type of things. And the only thing, I could kind of show you a picture of what, they were big symbols. These symbols were like three basketballs. Yeah, they were pretty big symbols above each freaking doorway, and it was so weird. And like I say, the whole lavish area was really scary and eerie feeling, and I started to think, this reminds me of The Shining. I was thinking that in the scenario. As I was as I was walking by, staring at all the weird symbols and observing how scary it felt in that new area, I was like, wow, this reminds me of the movie The Shining. And anyway, here's kind of what the symbols sort of look like, but I can't say it was exactly, but they were kind of circles. They all were sort of like circles, kind of something like that. I wish I remember exactly, but they were just very basic, simple looking circles, kind of like that. And as far as I remember, above each doorway that I looked up, there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 circles I saw, and as far as I remember, they all were exactly the same. They weren't different. They were all exactly the same. Okay, so wait, hold on. The last part of this, the scenario okay, hold on. Okay, let me bring this back up again. Fuck. Okay, hold on. So basically, as I walked through all the lavish part of the new line of rooms that that they put in, I went back outside in in an area where there was nothing but tables, and like a little dining area where you brought your food and ate or whatever. But it wasn't an actual restaurant or anything like that. There was couches and a bunch of tables, like high tables. And then all of a sudden I started seeing all these big old bags of potato chips and tortilla chips on 2 to 3, it was actually three different tables. The first table I walked up to, and there was like a big, let me find the area in this, in the paragraphs that I wrote. Okay, here's the funny part. I went up to one high table to the left, like as I walked away from the line of rooms. I went up to one high table to the left, and there was an unopened large bag of tortilla chips. I thought these full bags of chips laying around were supposed to be free samples, but I was not sure. I don't know if they were free samples or not. I picked it up and I was looking all over the bag for the ingredients, and I couldn't seem to find them. Also, I never saw the GF symbol on this bag, for gluten-free. I was wondering if they were gluten-free. So that is why I looked for that symbol, but on that first bag, I did not find that symbol. Then I walked back straight ahead towards the wall, and there was a smaller table with one more bag of chips. I picked it up and it said basil and vinegar. It was very clear. I was like, gross, I just want plain chips. I was also wondering if they were gluten-free. I looked on the back of the bag and I saw GF in a black circle. So basically they were gluten-free chips. I still did not eat them though, but they were gluten-free. The aliens know I just wanted, simple stuff with only 1 or 2 ingredients. So that's why they put that in the scenario, that I was trying to find some plain chips to eat. Because I had been frying my own sweet potato chips, and it's just basically 2 ingredients, coconut oil and sweet potato chips. So anyway, so I had been making my own sweet potato chips lately, so that is why the aliens put all those chips in the scenario. Oh yeah, hold on, what was the other... Oh yeah, okay, so it's so weird, like I could be like looking at all these experiences, and then yet another one, the one I had this morning, another one popped through, and now I remember it. But I just remember like parts of it. But yeah. Okay, so that was that one, but that was a trip. That one was really fun. It was really long. And like I say, I was walking around that hotel. That was going to be my second job. Well, it's kind of funny because I had thoughts of like, maybe I should get a second job, to make more money or whatever. But I mean, I don't really need to. But so I had that on the brain, like maybe I should get a second job someday or whatever. So the aliens, that's why the aliens put that in there, that was going to be my second job, working at the motel. Okay, but anyway, the other weird scenario this morning, I forgot already a lot of it, but like me and my sister were driving around. We drove up to a gas station, and this guy like drove up and got out of the car, and it was like he said something to us, like we were in the wrong lane or something like that. I mean, like we were in the wrong like in the wrong gas lane or something like that. And in the meantime, I was sitting there eating like tortilla chips and hot sauce and shit out of a bag. And then I told myself maybe I'll go in real quick and get a box of candy or whatever. And it's like me and my sister were taking a little trip. And so then I was going to go inside and get, a little box of candy. And that was another scenario I had this morning. But the guy, I can't remember what he said, but it's like he said we were in the wrong lane or something, the wrong gas lane or something. But anyway, and then as I was reading this, this experience, like with the hotel, all of a sudden it came back to me that that the other part of the scenario, the one that I just talked about, where me and my sister was going on a little trip, and we stopped off at the gas station. We had went over the bridge, kind of like the bridge over by me in real life. We had drove over the bridge, and I looked down, and I was like, wow, you can tell that's James River Freeway, and there was all these, interconnecting highways and and I was like, wow, that's James River Freeway, like those new additions that they put on a few years ago, Anyway, yeah, it was just very vivid, and when I looked down, I saw all those freeways and stuff. And but in the scenario, it really seemed more like a much bigger city, than this town. But in the scenario, I was like, wow, that's James River Freeway, as I looked down from the bridge. So that was kind of weird. But anyway, that part just came back to me. But anyway, so yeah, lately I've just been having a bunch of short little OBE VR lucid dreams, but this one was a long one, to the motel. Okay, scenario: to the hotel up the street with the new addition, whole new line of rooms, weird symbols above the doors, 213, 313 rooms. I was shocked they had I was like, wow, it's so eerie down this new edition. But yeah, that was really weird that the aliens made it seem so scary and eerie feeling down that new edition. Because they were making me think that it reminded me of The Shining, and The Shining is a very creepy movie. It's not scary, but like I say, the old part, we started out in the old part of the motel, and it was just kind of gross and old, you know? I was about to work and clean the rooms, but never did. I was excited about starting my new second job. But the worker, the head maid, kept taking me on a tour to see the new additions and everything. Kept taking me on the tour to see the new additions and everything, and we never did get to clean any rooms. Also, she had a key in her hand, and it seemed to me we were forever trying to find the right keys as I followed her around. The scenario started in the old part of the hotel, and the head maid was giving me the tour. I want to make sure I said everything. I saw the laundry room with the washer and dryer. Here's the funny part. As I looked up above the doors and was staring at all the weird symbols and observing how scary it felt in that new area, I was like, wow, this reminds me of the movie The Shining. I hadn't been thinking about The Shining lately. Well, I think maybe I did a few weeks ago. The rooms and walls were lavish. The walls seemed to be marble and the wide doors to each room. The walls and doors were very light beige marble. The hall was very wide and the doors were very tall. And as far as I remember, the floor was like carpet. Just really nice carpet, like beige carpet. And the big roundish, the hall was a very wide door with big roundish symbols above each door that seemed to be the same. I told the head maid, I bet there is not any number 13 rooms. Then as I walked down one side and the other, I counted 211, 212, 213, and the other side 311, 312, 313, and I was shocked. I said I thought motels were not supposed to have number 13. I was shocked